Has this ever happened to you? One morning, you wake up and find out that your crazy auntie, the wackadoodle one that you hate to have at Thanksgiving, yeah, that one. Well, you wake up one morning to find out that she's running for Congress. And then, even worse, you find out that the lunatic won. You start doubting your neighbors and the people in your county, and you wonder, what's wrong with these people? This woman is insane. Can't they see that? But then the nightmare continues, and your crazy auntie is reelected to Congress. You start reading up on land deals in Ireland and how you can buy a house in Italy for $1. Well, if that's your story, then your long national nightmare may be ending. Marjorie Taylor Greene, who has been characterized by a fellow member of Congress as the bleach blonde, bad built, butch body Congresswoman from Georgia, had a hapless and embarrassing campaign appearance in what is supposed to be safe territory in Virginia. We're going to take a look at that footage, but before we do, it's worth noting that chinks in the armor are starting to develop for our airsats culture warrior, who never met a Putin cause she couldn't like. She tried to throw her weight around in Congress by unseating the speaker and got her hat handed to her. She found out the hard way that being able to shout the loudest does not equal political power. And yes, she may be a good GOP fundraiser for her ability to feed the MAGA monkeys and make them throw their money away. But that still does not necessarily equal political power. When push comes to shove, Greene's electoral success has been about giving voice to the voiceless. The truly unintelligent who lack all critical skills and have too long been silenced for their inability to speak without saying something stupid or racist or both. Fox Network and the Trump campaign lured these people back into the social arena where they started voting in cult-like fashion. And Marjorie Taylor Greene's message resonated with them. Friends, morons, countrymen, unite! You have nothing to lose but your minds. And you've already lost them. And your self-respect, which also you lost a long time ago when you failed to evolve past a third grade intelligence about how the world works, listening to what your pastor tells you instead. It was a heartwarming message that was followed up with, "They're coming to get your guns." And so Crazy Auntie found herself moving to Washington, D.C., and traveling the country putting ignorance on display. Well, the act is getting old, as this appearance in Virginia demonstrates. Let's take a look at Magical Marjorie tap dancing her way through a counter demonstration. Several things are interesting to note here, none more than the ignorant Greene's fallback position of bullying. Greene has no intelligent response to the message of the progressive march that is going on, and so she resorts to bullying tactics, trying to shout down the demonstrators with a bullhorn. It's classic Greene. What you're saying is smarter than what I'm saying, so I'm just going to shout louder. And of course, all she can shout is a chant. Chanting like that is just evidence that when push comes to shove, Greene and her MAGA morons have nothing to say. And what exactly do they chant? Trump, Trump, Trump. What is that even supposed to mean? I asked ChatGPT, what is the meta discourse of chanting Trump to a progressive crowd that is taunting you? And this is what it came up with. This chant is a truncated way of saying we have no rational response to what you are saying, so we are going to shout vague threats of fascist reprisal based on the memory of a moment in time when the Electoral College handed a false victory to a con man from Queens who now threatens political reprisal at every turn because he has absolutely no vision for this country. Plus, the taunt, "your mother wears combat boots," no longer seems to have the cultural valence that it once did, so we resort to this. And people say AI has no social benefits. So, admittedly, Green and her few followers are not the only ones chanting. The crowd has a few chants of its own, like "no hate in our state," not to mention the classic old "F you." Green is forced to pretend that she is having a good time, but she is not. The last thing you can hear is someone shouting to her, "Get the F out of our state." Magical Marjorie's clown show is no longer playing like it used to. She's no longer cheerleading in front of the hometown, but barking up the wrong tree, and it shows. She can't summon minions to drown out the crowd, but instead has to endure the slings and arrows of a crowd that is anything but captured by her style. What yesterday's demonstration shows is that MAGA Nation has no answer to an organized and mobilized progressive front. This crowd is in Virginia, which isn't exactly a solid blue state, but hard work and turnout have definitely turned Virginia purple. And purple is the color that MAGA turns whenever it gets confronted beyond its well-cultivated and enclosed bubble. Virginia shows what happens when you build coalitions, organize, and stay motivated. Yes, there's a lot of gun-loving, right-wing fundamentalists who will turn out faithfully. See what I did there? But Virginia is also home to democracy-loving centrists and progressives willing to stand up and be heard. Bad news, Marjorie. Just like your time in New York, it's time to...
So exit, stage left.
I'm Anthony Vincent Gallo for Occupy Democrats.